This is Rachel Ruth Tate, the Astrology Roadshow, and the Astrology of December 20th. So we had a big day yesterday. We had the perfected Venus-Jupiter trine from Aquarius to Gemini. So it should have been one of the sweetest spots in the entirety of the month. Maybe a wonderful, like just as my example, right? So Aquarius is my 7th house of partnership, and Gemini is my 11th house of hopes, dreams, groups. And myself, my husband, and our traveling companion and friend, Arturo, ended up in the best cocktail bar I've ever been to. I say ever. You know, one of those where it's like, I can't think of another one, which is better. This cocktail bar is called Selva in Ciudad de Oaxaca. And we had a couple of the best cocktails right during that exact 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m. Venus-Jupiter trine, and had some wonderful conversations. The best service, right? Not too much, not too little. It was just utterly ideal. So that might have been, something else in your life, depending on where Aquarius and where Gemini fall. In my case, it was being buzzy out and about in this wonderful city. But today we have just one transit, and that is the moon in Virgo. The moon entered Virgo overnight around 1:30 a.m. Central Time, and it is forming a square with its ruler, Mercury in Sagittarius. That's it. That's the lone aspect for today. And a square between the moon in Virgo and its ruler in Sagittarius might be a little bit like being frustrated by some details, or feeling like you want to just adventure and enjoy, and there is some stress, right? And Virgo likes things to go according to plan. Virgo is where Mercury exalts. You want to get all of the right information and make sure to parse it out into, the correct meaning. And just as an example, Sagittarius is my 5th house of fun and joy, and Virgo is my 2nd house of possessions. So my sweet husband upgraded me to first, right? And I've flown first like a couple of times in my life, right? So it's very exciting to me. And we get on the plane, and it turns out that they didn't load the meals, the breakfast on the plane. So it's awesome. I get to have a glass of sparkling wine here in the morning, and our flight was delayed. Originally it was going to be 6 a.m. It ended up being 9:20, which meant yours truly could quite sleep in a way that was just so much better, waking up at 6 versus waking up at 3. Anyway, all of that said, there's been sort of a mixed bag. When we went to board, for example, there was literally no announcement. It was just like all of a sudden people started boarding. So you're like, oh, well, I better jump in line and I better start boarding. And the moon in Virgo can be frustrated by this. But with Sagittarius, that Mercury in Sag, just go with it. Find the joy in the journey. Find the exciting stuff that there is to find. I didn't get any breakfast, but I've got some sparkling wine, so hey, cheers to a wonderful day, and know that if there are some mix-ups, if you're being asked to change plans, if you're being stressed by some of those details, or if you feel like you're not getting the right information, that is kind of what the day is like. And then overnight, that moon's going to be moving into this funny little T-square. I say T-square, funny little grand cross, because we have Mercury there at 8 degrees of Sag, and we have Jupiter there at 14 degrees of Gemini, and we have Saturn there at 13 degrees of Pisces. So that moon's going to be forming this kind of, double square between Jupiter, Mercury, and then in opposition with Saturn. So things might be a little wild, stressful, tense, but there's always space to rest in the middle of a grand cross, and you'll know balance because it's the only place that feels right. So if the evening or tomorrow morning is stressful, I'm just kind of prepping you for that. And know that with the moon in Virgo and its ruler Mercury in detriment, still covering its retrograde shadow territory, you might not know the answer. And Virgo wants to know the answer. But if you don't, take a breath, eat something, drink something. Virgo rules the lower alimentary system, and there are more neurons in the gut than anywhere else. So if you can do that nourishment, you can make sure just to take the time you need, leave early, right, and roll with the delays. And I say delays, Mercury is no longer retrograde, but it was in this territory. So enjoy the enjoyable, and happy Friday.